It was a rainy Tuesday morning in the bustling city of New York. The kind of day where the sky hangs low like a heavy blanket, and everyone rushes through the streets with umbrellas that seem to clash more than protect. I remember it vividly, because that's the day everything changed for me. Picture this: I'm Alex, a 28-year-old graphic designer who's been grinding away at a mid-sized advertising firm for the past 3 years, dreaming of that big break, but stuck in the daily grind of deadlines and caffeine-fueled all-nighters. My boss, Elena, was the epitome of poise and power, a young woman in her early 30s, with sharp features, dark hair always tied in a neat bun, and an aura that commanded respect without a single raised voice. She was the kind of leader who inspired you to push harder, not because she demanded it, but because you wanted to match her drive. But on that fateful morning, as I hurried into the office with my backpack slung over one shoulder, juggling my own coffee and a stack of design mocks, I heard a soft gasp from her office. The door was ajar, and there she was, standing by her desk, her white blouse stained with a dark brown spill that was dripping onto the carpet. Coffee. Her coffee. She looked up, her eyes meeting mine, and in a whisper that carried more vulnerability than I'd ever heard from her, she said, "Can you help me clean this up?" Little did I know, that simple request would unravel a story of hidden pains, unexpected connections, and a transformation that would redefine us both. If this hook has you leaning in, hit that like button right now. It means the world to creators like me. And if you're not subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that tugs at your heartstrings like this one. Now, let's dive in. My heart skipped a beat as I stepped into her office, closing the door behind me to shield her from the prying eyes of the open-plan workspace outside. Elena was always the picture of perfection: tailored suits, impeccable makeup, and a schedule that ran like clockwork. Seeing her like this, frazzled, with coffee soaking through her blouse and a look of mild panic in her eyes, felt like peeking behind a curtain I wasn't supposed to touch. "Of course, Ms. Rivera," I stammered, using her last name out of habit, even though she'd told us all to call her Elena months ago. I grabbed a handful of tissues from the box on her desk and handed them to her, then knelt down to blot the carpet with some napkins from my backpack. As we worked in silence for a moment, I could smell the rich aroma of spilled espresso mixing with the faint scent of her perfume. Something floral and sophisticated, like jasmine in a high-end boutique. She dabbed at her blouse, but the stain was stubborn, spreading like a dark secret she couldn't hide. "Thank you, Alex," she whispered again, her voice barely above a breath. I don't know what happened. My hand just slipped. But there was something in her eyes, a flicker of exhaustion, perhaps, that told me this wasn't just about the coffee. It was the start of something deeper. As I helped her, I couldn't help but think back to how I ended up here. I'd started at the firm fresh out of college, full of ambition and ideas, but life had a way of wearing you down. My days were a blur of client meetings, revisions, and late nights staring at my computer screen until my eyes burned. Elena had been my boss for the last year, taking over after the previous director retired. She was young for the role, only 32, but she'd climbed the ladder fast, with a reputation for turning around failing campaigns and mentoring her team like a big sister. Rumors swirled about her that she was a workaholic, that she had no personal life, that she was hiding some big heartbreak. I dismissed them as office gossip, but now, as she sat on the edge of her desk, trying to compose herself, I wondered if there was truth to it. "Do you have a spare shirt or something?" I asked, trying to be practical. She shook her head, a small smile breaking through. "No, but I have a meeting in 10 minutes. This is embarrassing." I hesitated, then offered, "I have a hoodie in my bag. It's clean, I promise. Not exactly professional, but it might cover the stain until you can change." She looked at me, surprised, and for the first time, I saw gratitude mixed with something else, maybe relief at not being alone in this minor crisis. She accepted the hoodie, slipping it on over her blouse. It was oversized on her slender frame, the sleeves dangling a bit, but it hid the mess well enough. As she adjusted it, she let out a soft laugh, a genuine one that lit up her face. "You know, Alex, you're always the one staying late, fixing everyone's designs. I appreciate that." It was a small compliment, but coming from her, it felt like a medal. We finished cleaning the desk, and as I gathered the soggy tissues, she touched my arm lightly. "Let's keep this between us, okay? I don't need the team thinking their boss is a klutz. I nodded, but in that moment, a bond formed, subtle, unspoken, like the first thread in a tapestry. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would pull us both into the depths of our pasts and force us to confront the walls we'd built around our hearts. The rest of the day passed in a whirlwind. I buried myself in work, finalizing a pitch for a major client, an eco-friendly brand campaign that Elena had championed. But my mind kept drifting back to that morning. Why had she whispered? Why not just call for help from her assistant? And that look in her eyes, it wasn't just embarrassment, it was fatigue. The kind that comes from carrying too much for too long. By lunchtime, I decided to check on her. I knocked on her door, holding a fresh cup of coffee I'd brewed in the break room. Decaf just in case. "Come in," she called, her voice back to its usual confident tone. When I entered, she was at her desk, the hoodie still on, typing furiously. "Thought you might need a replacement," I said. Setting the cup down, she looked up and smiled. "You're a lifesaver. Sit down for a minute." I did, perching on the chair opposite her. That's when she opened up, just a crack. "You know, Alex, running this department isn't as glamorous as it looks. The pressure, it's constant." I nodded, sharing a bit about my own struggles. The student loans piling up, the creative block that hit me every few weeks. It was the first real conversation we'd had beyond work, and it felt like breathing fresh air after being underwater. As weeks turned into months, that morning incident became the catalyst for a deeper connection. Elena started assigning me to more high-profile projects, but it wasn't favoritism, it was trust. We'd have late, night brainstorming sessions in her office, poring over mood boards and sketches, laughing over takeout Chinese when deadlines loomed. I learned about her backstory in bits and pieces. She grew up in a small town in California, the daughter of immigrant parents who worked multiple jobs to give her a shot at the American dream. She excelled in school, landed a scholarship to NYU, and dove into the advertising world with fierce determination. But success came at a cost. I was engaged once, she confessed one evening as we worked on a campaign for a women's empowerment brand. The office was empty, the city lights twinkling outside her window. His name was Mark. We met in college, thought we had it all figured out. But when I got promoted here, he couldn't handle it, said I was too focused on work, not on us. Her voice cracked slightly, and she looked away, fiddling with a pen. He left 2 years ago, right before our wedding. I threw myself into this job to forget. I shared my own heartbreaks. A college girlfriend who cheated, a best friend who ghosted after I moved to the city. We bonded over the scars life leaves, the way ambition can isolate you even in a crowded room. But challenges arose, as they always do. The big client pitch, the one for the eco brand, hit a snag. Our initial concepts were rejected, and the deadline was moved up. Elena was under fire from upper management, her usual composure cracking under the strain. One afternoon, I found her in the conference room, head in her hands, papers scattered. "I can't do this," she muttered. "What if I fail? What if they see I'm not as put together as I pretend?" It echoed that coffee spill, a moment of vulnerability. I sat beside her, reminding her of her strengths, how she'd turned the department around. Together, we reworked the pitch, pulling an all-nighter that blended ideas from both of us. In those hours, something shifted. Laughter turned to lingering glances, shared stories to subtle touches, a hand on a shoulder, a brush of fingers over a keyboard. By dawn, the pitch was ready, and so was a realization I was falling for her. The presentation day arrived with nerves buzzing like electricity. Elena stood at the front, in a crisp suit, no sign of the hoodie incident. I was by her side, handling the visuals. As she spoke, her passion shone through, and the clients were hooked. We won the account. In the celebration that followed, champagne in the office, cheers from the team. Elena pulled me aside. "We did it," she said, her eyes sparkling. "No, you did it," I replied. But then, in a whisper reminiscent of that first morning, she added, "Alex, can we talk? Outside of work." My heart raced. That evening, over dinner at a quiet Italian place, she opened up fully. "I've been scared to let anyone in since Mark, but with you, it feels different, safe." I confessed my feelings, the way she'd become more than a boss, a confidante, a muse. We kissed under the streetlights, the rain starting again, washing away the past. But life isn't a fairy tale. Challenges didn't stop there. Office romance rumors spread like wildfire, and upper management frowned upon it. Elena faced scrutiny, whispers that her success was due to favoritism rather than talent. I dealt with jealousy from colleagues, one in particular. My coworker Jake, who'd been vying for my spot on big projects. He confronted me one day in the break room. "So, sleeping your way to the top." Ha! His words stung, but Elena stood by me. We decided to go public, but carefully transferring me to another team to avoid conflicts. It was hard, less time together at work, but it strengthened us. Then came the real test. Elena's parents visited from California. They were traditional, expecting her to settle down with someone from their community. Meeting them was nerve-wracking. Her father, a stern man with calloused hands from years of labor, eyed me suspiciously. "You're not what I pictured for my daughter," he said over dinner. Elena defended me, sharing how I'd been there for her, how we balanced each other. By the end of the weekend, her mother pulled me aside. "She smiles more with you. That's all that matters." As our relationship deepened, we faced personal hurdles too. I struggled with self-doubt, questioning if I was good enough for someone like her. One night, after a fight over my late hours, ironic, coming from her, I stormed out, but I came back apologizing, realizing my fears stemmed from past rejections. Elena shared her own insecurities, the pressure to be perfect, the fear of vulnerability after her breakup. We sought therapy together, learning to communicate, to support without losing ourselves. Work flourished too. I got promoted, leading my own campaigns inspired by her mentorship. Elena launched a side project, a mentorship program for young women in advertising, drawing from her experiences. Months later, on a crisp autumn day, I proposed. We were back in her office, where it all started. I spilled a cup of coffee on purpose, decaf, of course, and whispered, "Can you help me clean this up?" She laughed, tears in her eyes as I knelt with the ring. "Yes," she said, pulling me up. Our wedding was intimate, surrounded by family and friends who'd seen our journey. Jake even apologized, becoming an ally. Looking back, that spilled coffee was more than an accident. It was fate's way of breaking barriers. It taught us that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the bridge to true connection. In a world that demands perfection, it's okay to spill, to ask for help, to let someone in. If this story moved you, remember life's messes lead to beautiful stories. Like this video if it resonated, subscribe for more tales of love, growth, and unexpected twists, and share your own spill moments in the comments. Until next time, keep embracing the chaos. But wait, that's just the surface. Let me take you deeper into the nuances of our story, because every great tale has layers, like an onion that makes you cry but leaves you wiser. Let's rewind a bit to my early days at the firm. I was fresh-faced 25 with a portfolio full of freelance gigs but no real stability. The interview with Elena was intense. She grilled me on my designs, but not in a harsh way. It was like she was testing if I could think on my feet. "What inspires you, Alex?" she asked, leaning forward. I babbled about street art in Brooklyn, how colors tell stories. She nodded, and I got the job. From day one, she was hands-on, editing my work with red pen marks that felt like guidance, not criticism. But I noticed the shadows under her eyes, the way she'd stare out the window during breaks. I didn't pry then, I was too busy proving myself. One challenge came early, a team building retreat in the Catskills. It was meant to foster creativity, but for Elena it surfaced old wounds. During a trust fall exercise, she hesitated, her body tense. Later, by the campfire, she can her first real share. My ex, Mark, he broke my trust in ways I can't explain. Small lies at first, then bigger ones. I listened, sharing how my own trust issues stemmed from a childhood where my dad left when I was 10, promising to come back but never doing so. That night, under the stars, we talked until dawn, forging a friendship that predated romance. Back in the city, work pressures mounted. The eco campaign wasn't our only hurdle. There was the holiday rush where we pitched to a toy company. My designs were off, too edgy for kids, and Elena called me in. "Alex, this isn't you. What's going on?" I admitted my mom's health scare. She'd been diagnosed with early-stage cancer, and I was distracted. Elena softened. "Take the time you need. Family first." She covered for me, and when Mom recovered, I returned stronger, grateful. That act of kindness deepened my respect. As romance bloomed, jealousy reared its head, not just from Jake, but from Elena's old friend, Sarah, who warned her about office flings. "Remember Mark? He was your colleague too." It caused doubt, a fight where Elena pulled away. "Maybe this is a mistake." I gave her space but wrote a letter, old school, on paper, pouring out my heart. "You're not a mistake, you're my muse." She showed up at my apartment that night, tears streaming. "I'm scared, but I want this." External challenges hit too. A rival firm poached one of our clients, blaming Elena's leadership. She doubted herself, working obsessively. I intervened, planning a surprise weekend getaway to the Hamptons. There, away from the noise, we reconnected. Walks on the beach, talks about dreams she wanted kids someday, a balance she'd never had. I shared my aspiration to start my own studio. We returned renewed, turning the loss into motivation. Elena negotiated better terms with remaining clients, and I innovated designs that won awards. Family integration was another layer. My mom adored Elena, seeing her strength. "She's a keeper," Mom said during a visit. Elena's parents warmed slowly. Her dad shared stories of his youth. Immigrating from Mexico, the sacrifices. "I just want her happy," he admitted. We bonded over soccer games, bridging cultures. Through it all, emotional depth grew. Therapy sessions revealed patterns: Elena's perfectionism from parental expectations, my avoidance from abandonment fears. We resolved conflicts with empathy, like when I forgot our anniversary, busy with a deadline. Instead of anger, she said, "Let's create new memories." We did, picnicking in Central Park. The proposal wasn't just romantic, it was symbolic. Spilling coffee intentionally closed the circle. Our life now, balanced. Elena leads with more vulnerability, inspiring her team. I run a side hustle supported by her. We travel, volunteer, plan a family. This story isn't just ours, it's universal. Spills happen, literal and metaphorical. Embrace them, ask for help, build from there. It leads to inspiration, love, growth. If you're inspired, like, subscribe, comment your stories. Let's build a community of resilient hearts. To make this even more immersive, let's explore the subplots that wove into our main narrative. Take Jake, for instance. He wasn't just a jealous coworker, he had his own struggles. After our confrontation, I invited him for coffee. Ironic, right? He opened up about his divorce, how it made him bitter. "I see you too, and it reminds me of what I lost." We became friends, and he even stood as a groomsman at our wedding. Resolution through understanding. Then there was Elena's mentorship program. It started small but grew. One mentee, a young woman named Mia, reminded Elena of herself. Ambitious but isolated. Mia faced harassment at her internship. Elena guided her through reporting it. Seeing Elena in action, advocating for others, made me love her more. My creative journey had twists too. Post-promotion, I hit a block. Designs felt flat. Elena suggested art therapy, painting our emotions. One session I painted a chaotic spill turning into a blooming flower. It unlocked ideas, leading to a breakthrough campaign for a mental health app. Holidays brought warmth and challenges. Our first Christmas together, blending traditions, her family's tamales with my mom's gingerbread. But a snowstorm stranded us, forcing reflection. We shared deepest fears, her of failure, mine of loss. It bonded us tighter. Travel adventures added flavor. A trip to Italy, where Elena proposed a vow renewal idea. In Rome, amid ancient ruins, we whispered promises. But a pickpocket stole her wallet. Another spill. We laughed, turning it into a story, chasing leads with locals, recovering it. Resilience in action. Back home, community involvement. We volunteered at a shelter, where Elena connected with a single mom, offering job advice. It healed her own wounds from Mark's abandonment. As years passed, wait, this is our story up to now, but imagine the future. Kids, perhaps, teaching them vulnerability, careers evolving. Elena as CEO, me with my studio. The message: life's spills are opportunities. Clean them with help. Turn stains into art. Be open, connect, grow. That's the inspiration.